What a great week, guys. We have now reached the next resistance. Remember 117,300 that I talked about earlier in the summer. That was support here, then it became resistance, then support again, resistance, and now resistance again. See guys, this is not difficult. Other asset classes are very supportive. Stocks, new all-time high almost every single day. Physical gold holding this massive breakout to new all-time highs. On Bitcoin, if you look at the volume profile here on the right, you can see that not much volume has changed hands if we clear this bump over here. So if we clear the resistance here with other asset classes so supportive, there is definitely a good possibility that Bitcoin too just punches through into new all-time highs as well. The trust in fiat, on the other hand, is at an all-time low. This is not good, guys.
If you look at our national debt, which is insanely high, the interest payments exceed the Defense Department, War Department budget. If AI and robots don't solve our national debt, we're toast.
It's not great to be toast. Personally, I don't think AI and robotics is enough to solve this chart. If you're a trend-following person like me, this isn't looking great, is it? The richest person in the world, probably the most powerful person in America after the president, tried his best to get the budget balanced, to turn this around. Didn't work. And that was with a more conservative party, which is usually the side more willing to go for stricter budgets. So if that didn't work, no politician from any party will be willing to sacrifice the re-election of their party and of themselves if they are on their first term by doing widely unpopular budget cuts. I don't think that AI and robotics will magically increase taxes, even if, say, Tesla becomes very successful. In fact, for the whole country, AI might even reduce tax income. Here is the US Federal Revenue Statement. And if we look here, here is the corporate income taxes that could plausibly increase if AI increases company profits and thereby company taxes. But it's a smaller circle. But will AI increase personal income taxes? I don't think so. I think many people will in fact lose their jobs, which means less personal income taxes. And that's the big circle over here, not looking great. Here is the other side, the spending. Medicare, Social Security, defense, health. And here's the interest on the debts, education, veteran benefits, transportation. So defense is 1.2 trillion, interest 1 trillion. Now, not all the numbers are from the same year, but I want to show the magnitude. Spending, revenue, deficit 1.8 trillion. So where's this 1.8 trillion going to come from with this portion increasing? It's not enough to cut all this stuff down. It's still minus. It is a massive problem. It is out of hand. Elon is right. And it's not only in the US, it's most of the Western world. We are toast. If this was a company, the stock would plummet towards zero because this is heading towards bankruptcy. Or is that actually true? Let's ask my friends. If the US was a company, bottom line, on corporate metrics, very high leverage, poor interest coverage, ongoing losses, a company with those numbers would likely be junk rated and at risk. As a country, the US is not bankrupt, but on an unsustainable path. Grok, debt to revenue, 7.3, less than 3x healthy, above 5x distressed. Interest coverage, adequate now, but eroding. Deficit to revenue, 42%. For a corporate, it should be below 5 to 10%. Massive losses, heading to crisis if unchecked. Interest percentage to revenue, 20%, less than 10% ideal. Growing burden, in 1991 peak, it was 18.4%, now 20. Conclusion, not bankrupt yet, but heading towards bankruptcy. Also the fiat, which is debt issued by an entity heading towards bankruptcy, is increasingly risky. You understand, right? Fiat issued by that entity when it was highly valued and very stable was doing well. But now that it's junk rated and they're issuing more and more of that debt, it's dropping in real value. And if they keep issuing more and more and more and more, it could start hyperinflating. It's possible, guys, for that to happen during our lifetime. I was picking on US here, but it's similar for everyone. Then on top of that, you have the AI revolution that will threaten most white-collar jobs. So, what to do? You need to take control yourself. You can't assume that the government will take care of you. They are broke! You need to realize that there is a real risk of hyperinflation of Western-issued fiat in our lifetime. The taste of the sweet money in the bank can change for real. Working hard and saving money for your kids might not cut it anymore. You need to build own assets and put the money you have into assets. I'm not saying put all your money into Bitcoin here. Crypto will always remain high risk. It's in its nature. It will remain super volatile. And I'm not saying to put all the money into the stock market at all-time high, but I think you should look at a combination of asset classes as a strategy. Equities, commodities, digital assets, and some real estate might do well too, while other real estate will not, as we continue this transition into era digitalis, where we work more digitally and more globally. Also, demographics are changing in many places with low birth rates that will affect a lot of real estate. So the thing to focus on in 2025, in my opinion, is building assets and upping your skill to build assets. At least that was my big conclusion when I left one of the best jobs in the world and corporate altogether, now almost a decade ago. And that is my clear and firm advice to you. Build assets. That's it. That's what you need to do. Build assets, learn the skills to build assets. I will keep repeating this until morale improves. Solana Sol still looks great, fantastic. I talked about that we're moving up towards this resistance here at 260. Should we push through, this one goes into price discovery. ETH has not broken neither down nor up, still holding this same range. Hype breakout still holding, now facing some competition from more entrants with the same value proposition, and we absolutely smashed it in Tesla too. Alt season is definitely still on. Earlier this year, so many people said that it's different this time and there will never be another alt season. And they said it's because the Bitcoin money is now in the ETFs, so it can't trickle down from Bitcoin to Ethereum, then to the big caps and then to the small caps. Last cycles, the money were in the exchanges, where you can easily swap from one coin to another. Now if the big money is in the ETFs, well, there you can't in the same way. That was the narrative. I said, I'm not so sure about that, and I don't really agree. I think the Wall Street boys and girls have the same type of brains as everyone else, and after discovering Bitcoin, they soon want more and more upsides. And they will go down the same path of Bitcoin to Ethereum, to high caps like Solana, and then to smaller caps, as we all did. And, well, so far, it looks exactly the same as every other cycle. First Bitcoin pumped, then Ethereum pumped, now Solana is pumping, and we see select smaller altcoins also pump. So I think there is a good chance that we get this absolute explosion in smaller caps towards the end of this cycle this time too. Definitely time to dive deeper into more altcoin projects. And those of you on Larsson Pro, the way to use it is to enter all those projects that you come across into the watch list. And if the entry is not right, then just leave it there. Forget about it. You will get the alert when the technical setup happens, instead of FOMOing in. Buy at support, buy at breakout, buy a trend flip, but don't buy because you feel FOMO from reading about something on social media. Instead, assess, does it have some merit, put it on the watch list, and get good risk-reward controlled entries instead. My new course with Larsson and Larsson Pro package is now generally available with everything. You get course with Larsson and process, 21 episodes over 3 weeks, 5 to 10 minutes per day. Larsson indicator, Larsson Pro 3, full automation information, over 10,000 coins, 100,000 stocks and commodities. Alerts unlimited with the new orange indicator. Discord access, community portfolios, pro portfolios, favorable setups in interesting projects and companies, coin, stocks and commodities. Friday TA Pro report that I write each and every Friday, and more. Thanks to all the friendly users of my new checkout. It was genuinely super helpful, guys. Some of you solved my longest running issue for the entire past 12 months. We had a lot of card declines, up to 20%. And it should be single digit, more like 5% on average. I contacted Stripe, the payment processor, so many times, and they always said, it's up to the customer's bank, we can't do anything. But 2 of you guys in the community decided to get to the bottom of it, sat for hours on the phone with your banks and MasterCard and actually figured out what triggered it. And it was fixable. Now that's changed and decline rate instantly dropped. Fantastic. Thank you again. Crypto payments to the payment processor are working much better. Cheaper, faster, less error-prone than card payments. But not perfect either. Many try to pay from an exchange like withdraw USDC, and then since the exchange tries to minimize the gas fees on the networks, withdrawals are often really slow. So by the time the payment arrives, the payment processor has already timed out. It's better to withdraw from the exchange to your own wallet first and then send from there to the payment processor. Then there won't be any timeouts. Crypto payments are still in the early stages. This is too difficult for your average grandmother. The third worst, slowest and most troubled form of payment is bank transfer. Completely manual, emailing IBAN numbers and SWIFT codes, then completely manual trying to figure out which payment is from whom. Takes 3 days to arrive and then the money sometimes just doesn't arrive at all. It's gone from both ends, both the sender and the receiver accounts. Both sitting with the banks in either end trying to figure out where is the money. Hilarious. API? No. Webhook? No. Anything? No. Disruption incoming for TradFi for sure. Okay guys, I have to start writing the Friday TA report. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out.